Hello, everyone. Welcome to, I suppose this is going to be a grinding episode. And what makes things even weirder for me is that I'm currently recording a grinding episode. While, I'm recording footage for a grinding episode while recording the audio. So hopefully, this works out. I definitely need, this to help balance things out a bit. Because it's actually weird in the planning of this. I basically do 5 episodes a week, but I have 2 series going on right now: Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the main game, and Pokemon, my Pokemon Shining Pearl Nuzlocke. By the way, I just want to say sorry if you hear birds in the background, but can't control nature. Or can I? Have I never tried? So I do 5 episodes a week, which means that there's 10 episodes a week because of the 2 series. And technically speaking, my Xenoblade Chronicles, I'm gonna record some episodes. Technically I already have the 5 episodes for this week, but I'd like to have ready the next batch. This is completely new for me. I've never really recorded audio for one episode while recording footage for another. So hopefully it goes out. This episode is actually going to be 26 minutes 10 seconds. So yeah, I even have, because it's funny because I recorded 50. Well, what would that be? 52 minutes 20 seconds of footage. But my idea is always put it at 2 times speed, And this episode, by the way, it's gonna be me not only grinding for levels on my Pokemon, but also trying to essentially get money. Ooh. Oh, I can get pluck. Okay, I'm gonna get 1 pluck. I'm not sure who I'm gonna give it to. I have Wait, I wonder if Golbat can learn pluck? Sorry, I guess I'm spoilers. I was thinking for topics to talk about, and I'm going to tell some stories from when I was younger. Oh God, I'm saying younger if I'm an old man or something. I think it'd just be fair to share this small tidbit about myself. I'm actually 23 years old. So in all honesty, because I'm pretty sure at this point, if you gather all the different recordings of different Let's Plays I've done so far, you're gonna have you're gonna have clips of me saying I'm a 32-year-old divorced man, or any random thing that comes up in my head. Yeah, in all honesty, I'm 23 years old. But I don't know, just at 23 years old, throwing the phrase "when I was younger" sounds kind of weird, But the other day a friend of mine actually remembered something, and I'm like, wow, it's not that I forgot, it's that it's archived memory, I haven't had, I guess, the need to remember that. I don't know, it hasn't come up. And once when, what year was this? I guess when I was in 7th grade, or now that I think about it, it's it's 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, because it was one of those years. So I'm sorry for the weird range. It was one of those times. Basically before that time, I've gone over to my friend's house. I had a group of 4 friends who I was the closest to, and we had sleepovers and stuff like that. We essentially had the sleepovers at one of their houses because we slept in what was essentially their gigantic garage. um, yeah, it was just like a gigantic garage, and yeah, that's what we did. Sorry, I'm just traversing, trying not to start a fight. Okay, there we go. Like they had we just put our sleeping bags and stuff like that. It was sick. It was awesome. Um, and then like I think like twice maybe once I remember for sure, but like we slept at another friend's house of this group of four. By the way, when I mention this, I'm talking about my school friends, not like like I not like my neighborhood friends. Let's see. Oh, yeah, like we mostly stayed at this guy's house. We just kind of like it was like our official, our unofficial official place to sleep over. Um, I've always lived in an apartment, and one of the other guys also lived. Well, kids, because we were all kids at this point. One of the other guys also lived in an apartment, so we never had sleepovers there because it was small. Like we all essentially knew like okay, we need a space to do stuff, and yeah, that's why we like. It's not like we never really imposed on him. Like he was always the one who said like, oh, we're gonna do something. We should do it at my place. Um, so this is the thing, because we had sleepovers at those two guys' places. That implies that you know I think yeah, it was my dad who was taking us. We were going to go play mini golf. And like, well, because my dad had dropped me off at those two places before, he knew exactly where to go. Like he knew the address and like the route. So that was an issue. Except the other guy who lived in an apartment. I don't remember what conflict it was in scheduling, but he was essentially like, "Oh, can you guys call me the day of like the event, so I can confirm that day, like if I can go or not." And we said, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Like we hope you can, like we hope it works out." And then this is the thing, like my dad had a really good idea. He's like, "Oh, okay. Why don't because of like the distance, it's not gigantic distance, but it still takes time." He said, "Why don't we like start picking up I'm gonna give them numbers, just not to, because I never felt comfortable about like just releasing names, even of like my uh friends that I'm close with, and like my friends who are listening right now. I don't feel comfortable sharing names without permission. So let's call them 1, 2, and 3. So basically, friends 1 and 2. He said, "Okay, let's go pick up friends 1 and 2." And then during that, call friend number 3, and he could give you that stuff. And remember how I said like this is around like 6th, 7th, stuff like that. Okay, so man, it's still kind of it's funny for me, honestly, but I don't know what was the thing. What like what me and my other friends came to the conclusion to is that he didn't know his address because like he essentially told us the city and the street. And this is the thing, like we went to go pick up 1 and 2, and then it's time to pick up 3 because he said, yeah, my mom said I can go. She wasn't there at the moment that she was coming back, and he said, "Oh, I live on this street." Except, how do I explain this? Okay, so you know how there's like streets that like extend throughout like the entire city, or like I'm talking about like they cover blocks, like they're a very big main street. Yeah, there's those streets, and then there's like cul-de-sac streets where it's like a one-way dead end. Yeah, he told us the dead end cul-de-sac street, and like because like my dad, I told my dad, okay, he says that he's on this street, and then my dad's like, I don't know where that is. Can you tell him at least like, hey, is there like he I kind of like all the things my dad told me to say, like I just called him and like spoke to him through. Um, he's like, "Oh, okay. Is there like a major building, or what's like the next major street?" And like it's funny because like he actually ran out of his apartment. And I remember, I think it's like seventh grade. So you know how like we were in little, but like we were still young, but whatever. Like he just like ran out and he's like, okay, I saw the street sign. It's this street. And my dad's like, yeah, I still don't know that street because like he never went around that area. But he said, don't worry, like, well, man, like this was so long ago. This was like really before like Google Maps and stuff like was like common use. And he said, okay, don't worry about it because like my dad was really chill. He was like, okay, let's make it easier. What are the like, like what kind of stores are there? Like for example, like he's like, because we've been looking for this for a while now, for like it took us like 40 minutes to find his house. And like none of us were like rushed. We all found it kind of funny, even my dad. It's a very nice memory for me and my dad because like I can imagine knowing him that he was like kind of like bothered by this, but he still put up like a brave face. He's like, nah, don't worry. Like he's like, no, I want my son and his friends to have a good time. Like he really made it chill for us. But he's like, my friend basically said this. These were his instructions. There's a school, there's a library, and there's a market, like very close by. And I kid you not, guys. That day we drove by so many. Like we drove by like 7. We couldn't even believe it. How many like libraries and like what's it called, markets and like schools there were. It's because this is a problem. I know you're probably thinking, no, it's not possible for like that many public libraries in one area, right? And I completely agree. It's just that there was like he didn't say public library and he didn't say what kind of school. There was like a high school with a public library and like what's it called, like a Vallarta, like a Vallarta supermarket, for example, like. So there's that combo, right? And then like let's move over like I don't know 6 blocks to the west, and there was a middle school with like a large bookstore, like a large bookstore, with another chain supermarket. So you get what I mean? It was these weird combos where like you can neither confirm nor deny. And yeah, like we never let. I feel bad nowadays because like I wouldn't call it straight up bullying, but I wouldn't call it bullying because like we were friends. At least like. I don't know what kind of scope. I guess like if you focus in on it. No, we all joshed on each other. Yeah, we never went too far. Besides, there were some actual jerks at our school, so like I don't think you can consider it. It was like teasing, but like we always remember that event for, the short while we had left. Oh, I guess I should mention that. Like, yeah, that's all the end of it. Like, we had a great time at mini golf, but it was just really funny how it took us forever and a half just to find out where he lived. I'm pretty sure it wasn't until like his mom got there that she said like the actual like she gave us like more directions. Like I said, this was before like Google Maps was like commonplace and like just pull out your phone and look for it. Back when like internet cost a little more and it wasn't that accessible. But what I guess the reason I don't talk that much about my friends from like from elementary school. Oh, well, I went to school, which is something I didn't know about until recently, that like there are some schools that only go like 1 through 6 No, what is it, 1 through 5th, and then they're like 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then high school obviously. I went to a school that like had 1 through 8th, so like I don't know, like I've heard people only go to 1 through 5th and stuff like that, but like I don't know, like for me, what was considered normal was that because of the schools in my area. At least that's what I consider normal. Anyway, yeah, in my elementary school, essentially, the usual thing to do at least is to go to a specific high school. So you gotta like, and what I mean by this is like what was common is graduates from my school go directly there. It's like the unofficial official Big Brother school, and not Big Brother 1984 Big Brother. I mean it's in the same city. It's not like exactly a stone's throw away, but it was whatever everyone from this school usually goes there. Um, there were teachers there that were alumni. Like it was the whole image of the school. And look, there have been certain events. I'd like to make a video about it. Pretty soon, but it's still like a personal topic for me. I'll touch that later, but long story short, I didn't want to go to the high school where like 90% of my current class was going to continue being my current class. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to that, where like I said, I like 95%. I'm not even kidding. Like 95% of my class went to that school, and I don't know, just like it. I honestly just like remember sitting up one night and like just evaluating my situation and said, do I really want to be surrounded by the exact same people? And like this is weird because I remember even telling a friend who like he one of my let's call them one of my at home friends. Because like he didn't go to the same school as me, because in case you're wondering, I went to a private school. That's why it's a little different. But like he like I was just thinking like I'm kind of thinking from this angle, like if I keep going to high school with these people, with the same group of kids, like there's a chance that like I said, I'm not trying to blow anything out of proportion, but there's a chance that like what if one of these girls becomes like my girlfriend one day, like my future wife, or what if one of these guys is gonna be like the best man at my wedding or whatever. And you're probably thinking it's kind of weird for a kid to be thinking this, and yeah, I'm gonna give you that, but I wasn't thinking it just like out of just randomness. I don't know, just I think part of me just really thought it was a turning point in my life, because I was just thinking like, do I really want to be with the exact same group of people? Like like they know everything about me, I know everything about them more or less. I don't know, like I just really wanted a completely different environment. And like I know this sounds like snobby, I guess, like if I thought I was better than them. Trust me, it doesn't come from that. It just comes from, I don't know, just I think I knew enough of certain people. You understand that? Like I thought like I really like 4 more years of the exact same thing. I don't know, something along that line. Maybe it sounds a little mean, but it was me being honest with myself. And I actually applied to a school that was very far away. Like I'm talking about cities away. And it was pretty expensive. Like that was the other thing. Usually the other school where everyone goes to, like they're used to giving like scholarships and like easy access to kids from my school. And like I don't want to brag, but I was a smart kid. Like like the teachers even told me like if I went to that school, like I would get in with no issue. Like they would probably scoop me up. Um, I don't know. I didn't want to be surrounded by the same exact thing constantly. So I took a gamble and I went to the other place. Well, I didn't went. It's a long story, but essentially I earned a scholarship, a very big scholarship over there. And that's what gave me the opportunity to attend that school. And that's where I met some of the best guys I've met in my entire life. For example, Harrower. If it wasn't for me having that feeling of what, I want something different, or at least new, I would have honestly never met my friend Harrower, and he's one of the coolest guys I know. Of course, this doesn't change like my at-home friends. And I think I like that because like I think I was talking more about the people I associate with on a daily basis, like in terms of school. It's been a hectic adventure, but like I like what I did. It was a really big turn, and it came at a very important point in my life. Uh, do I have regrets? Absolutely not. I don't like to live with regrets. And I guess just to wrap up the topic about it, that group of friends there were four of us. Well, there were more, but that's a story for another time, I suppose. That group of friends and I, we tried keeping in touch after high school. Well, after 8th grade. And it was kind of sad because, well, what is it? You know the one I said that like we teased a lot. I guess it's not. It's weird because when I think back, I understand that we drifted apart because I think that's why I think I made a good decision of leaving to another high school because I kind of realized that we were all very different. Like I kind of didn't understand why we were friends. Like two of us were, let's say, on the smart side, but I was like very smart. The other one was like normal smart. The other one was essentially like a jock, more or less, a sporty type, let's say athletic. And the other one was like a nice kid, goofball. Sorry for that description. That's when we were kids. I don't know who he is anymore, because it's it's been forever and a half. But like it kind of proved my point that like, yeah, I feel like we were just friends because of seating arrangement, convenience, I guess maybe. We didn't really have that much in common, and I can't blame them. Like I think I wish we left on better terms. It's just that like we organized like hangouts, and like for example, I went. It's funny because one of them, who I stayed in contact with the longest, we went to go see that ride along, that Ice Cube Kevin Hart movie. Yeah, so we essentially made trips like to get together, but the one that we teased more or less sometimes just like didn't show up. Like I remember we all got together once, for sure, and maybe twice. But then he started flaking, and it's one of those things of like, oh, sorry, turns out I can't go, And then the other one started flaking, and then like they were flaking so much that like me and like the guy I just mentioned that we did show up a lot. We watched Ride Along. We wanted to do something But since guy number 3 was always, saying he can't go, we just ended up not organizing anything. So we just stayed in touch over the phone until, we just stopped talking. Anyway, this episode is gonna have to be wrapped up. Sorry for living on bare sweet note. Trust me, I have nothing but fond memories of those guys. We had a lot of adventures together and so on. You know what? Like, if I met them again, I'd love to start all over. I'm honestly a completely different person from back then. And I have absolutely no doubts that they are too. And you know what? It will be awesome just to get back together and just, talk about, how time has passed. Man, I really do sound old, I guess. Anyway, hope you guys are doing great wherever you are. Stay awesome. Alright. Don't say goodbye, say schmalo. And thank you so much for joining this episode. I've been your host, Night Warden. See you in the next one.